Hello all, welcome to the VoIP Traffic Analysis course on Pentester Academy. Now in this video, I proudly present our Pentester Academy VoIP Wireshark plugin. Now the whole team has been working very hard, a lot of research, a lot of iterations, specifically Jaswin and Nishant, and finally I think it's in a shape where I can go ahead and launch this. And of course, there will still be bugs in all probability because we all try to make sure that this can be done in as fast a process as possible. So feel free to file bugs. So what are the objectives of this plugin? Now the whole idea is that in the whole course, we've been doing a lot of things in a manual way. Now especially decryption. I mean, all of you have seen how painfully long the process can be, right? So we figure out the keys, and from the keys we get the hex dump. From the hex dump we finally decode, then we extract out the WAV files, right? Or whatever audio files. Now, could all of this be done in an automated way using a Wireshark plugin? And you'll see that that's really what the team has achieved. Along with that, a bunch of other things which can make VoIP traffic analysis a little less painful. So let's jump right in. Now in this video, I'm actually going to go ahead and show you the demo on Windows. A lot of people have been requesting that the platforms be varied a bit. So I'm going to be using the Windows version of Wireshark. Keep in mind the process is going to be same for other platforms as well. Just make sure you take a look at Wireshark's documentation to understand which folders and how to install plugins. I'm going to focus on Windows. So in order to go ahead and extend the capability of Wireshark, we use what are called plugins. Now you can write plugins in Lua or you can write them in C. Now of course writing them in C is going to be a very hardcore exercise, and hence we've written them in Lua. For most of the tasks, especially offline analysis, it's just going to be as powerful. The only downside, of course, is like any interpreted language in comparison to C. If you're looking at very large files, etc., the speed of parsing, of course, is going to be slower. Okay, so let's actually click on Help. Let's click About Wireshark. Now, what we want to do first is locate the folders where we can drop in our plugins that we've written along with the libraries required. So under About Wireshark, look at the Folders tab, and then what we can do is download the zip file available with this video, which contains the plugin. So let me pull that up. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is copy out some of these important files to make our plugin functional. So the first thing is going to be to install a library called Lockbox, which is a Lua library where we are actually using its different encryption decryption routines. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the system directory. So programs Wireshark. Now very important, make sure that you look at the instructions on Wireshark's website for Linux and OS X. The process does vary a bit, especially when you want to install the Lua library, right? The plugin drop is pretty much the same as you will see in just a bit. So from our directory, I'm actually going to copy Lockbox and paste it into program files Wireshark. So this is where we've dropped the library, and now let's actually pick up the plugin. So I'm going to close this. So one plugin, of course, is SRTP decryption. I'm going to do that first. I'm going to copy this plugin out. And then I'm going to go inside the personal Lua plugins directory, as you can see here. Now, sometimes the plugins directory may not be present, in which case you may have to go to users, Vivek, app data, roaming, Wireshark plugins. That typically happens if you don't have any other plugins. Okay, we can see the plugins directory is here, but empty. And I'm going to paste SRTP decrypt Lua in here. Let's minimize this. Now, once you've installed the plugins, you need to restart Wireshark, because Wireshark only at load time is going to check for available plugins. Now, in case there is a problem, you're probably going to see an error right now in Wireshark, which may say something's wrong. If that does happen, try and see if you can fix it. We are using the latest version of Wireshark 2.6.2 as of making this video, so I'm not getting any errors. My assumption is if you use something too old, or if something changes sometime in the future, you might get errors. If it's for a future version of Wireshark, make sure that you let us know so that we can update the plugin if there is something to be fixed at our end. Now, the first thing you will notice is when you click on tools, right now nothing is appearing here, right? And this is simply because the SRTP decrypt plugin is not really creating a GUI here, but rather under edit preferences. And we'll come to that in just a bit. So click edit preferences. Under protocols, go to P, and then you would actually find that we have a section called PA toolbox, right? And if you notice, this says decrypt SRTP automatically. I'm going to uncheck this for a second, click OK, and then load up one of the files. So let me actually pause and get to that directory. Okay, so I'm inside our sample calls directory, and I'm going to go to SIP SRTP, and let's actually pick up conference call 3 parties. This seems to be the more complicated one, and drag and drop this here. And of course, if we look at SIP, we can see SIP, and if you look at SRTP, my bad, if you look at RTP, we should be able to see that SRTP is present. Need some coffee while decrypting VoIP. Of course, this is encrypted, and we've already discussed the process of how to decrypt this in great detail in this course. So I will spare you the repetition here. What we really want to do is to have Wireshark now use the Pentester Academy VoIP plugin and decrypt this automatically. Now, to do that, all we have to do is click on Edit Preferences, Protocols, again go all the way to PA Toolbox, and enable Decrypt SRTP automatically. Click OK. And the moment you do that, what you notice is at the bottom left, it says rescanning. And now what is happening is Wireshark is feeding all of these SRTP packets to our plugin. The plugin is figuring out the keys from the SDP section and then trying to decrypt different streams, right? So that is why currently it looks as if the screen is frozen. But if you look at the bottom left, you can see the green bar progressing. And this is actually Wireshark showing you how many packets have been processed so far. And really, this is just decryption happening. The best part, as you're probably envisioning at this point, is the fact that all of the stuff which we did step by step is now happening automatically behind the scenes. And the process is going to be same for, SIP over SSL or SIP over TLS, which is actually using RSA. All you have to do is use the key first, decrypt the traffic, and then the plugin does exactly the same thing automatically. Now, if you notice, the SRTP got converted to RTP after decryption, and this itself probably tells you that it's going to be very easy now to analyze this using existing telephony plugins. So now I can very, very easily click on RTP. Let's say look at RTP streams. I can see there are basically 6 streams. Click on any one of them, click Analyze. Oops. Click Analyze, then click Play Stream. And there you go. The audio has been completely recovered, right? Now, if we did not have decryption available, so if you go in here, you would of course not be able to see any of that. So if we click on PA toolbox, remove this, click on OK, we are back to SRTP. And now if you were to click on RTP streams, of course we'd see the streams again. But when you click on Analyze, click on Play Streams, you would just end up seeing noise, right? While just doing something as simple as enabling the plugin. So will allow us to now listen to the audio right here in Wireshark. Coffee is really good. Nothing beats the combination of doing something deep technical, that too over the weekend, and sipping away on, you know, some really hot, strong coffee. I'm sure you've experienced this as well. Everything seems to be right, just the right temperature around me, the right coffee. I've kind of made it really well, so seems like a great day. Okay, let's wait for the decryption to complete. There we go. Click on telephony, RTP streams. Let's select any one of them. Click Analyze. Click Play Streams. And let's play it.
There are currently 2 other participants in the conference.
And there you go. We've recovered it, right? Fantastic. So this is really how, as you can clearly see, this is going to save you probably hours and hours of work. Now, even though I've shown you in using offline files, this is going to be working even for live traffic. So now let's actually close this and use some of the other plugins that the Pentester Academy team has created. So I'm going to copy everything else apart from README. And the attack detection, which is really early stage right now. We haven't finished all the work. Let me copy this into the plugins directory. There we go. The same plugins directory where we copied SRTP decrypt Lua. I'm going to paste this in here. And then I'm going to restart Wireshark so that all these new plugins are automatically loaded. Now this time around, we create a little GUI. So if you click on Tools, you'll actually see VoIP is available here. And I'm going to open up the conference call 3 parties once again. And my bad, it's processing it again. The reason I want to do this is show you one other plugin which is allowing us to export the audio into Wave directly so that we don't have to go through all the PCAP Wave and all that stuff. Now keep in mind, this is codec dependent. So just make sure that you take care of that part. And if there is an unknown codec, you might still have to figure out other ways. So there we go. Now we can actually click on Tools VoIP and click Extract Wave. And this is going to extract all of that audio. So let me actually give it a destination directory. I'm going to give it same downloads directory from where I copied out all the VoIP plugins. You can leave the prefix as you want. Later you could change it to be something more intelligible, like maybe the prefix of the PCAP file. So I'm going to click OK. And if you notice, audio files are starting to appear. Fantastic. So this specifically tells you that all the 6 streams have been extracted into WAV files. So this is stream 1 all the way to stream 6. And unfortunately, this is, there you go. right? So all of these have been extracted, and now you can go in here and you can listen to each of these streams individually. Alternately, you can use a tool like Audacity. You can do a file, import audio. You can select all of these, click open. And there you go. Now you can do your audio analysis, play it, and all of that. The stream files have been named intelligently. So we have the stream ID, the source identifier at the very end, followed by the from and to IP address, right? And again, you can add your own prefix instead of PA export. It's just up to you. Fantastic. So you can clearly see how powerful this plugin is and how easy it can actually make your job, right? We have used this in our classroom trainings and students were really very happy. Most of them wanted to beat me up as to why I showed them the long and tedious and painful way. But the truth is, don't over depend on your tools. It's always important that you get to know how to work things through using first principles. And of course, in the field, it would probably be smart once you understand what is really happening under the hood, that you use tools and plugins like these to really focus on solving problems rather than, again, going back and trying to figure it out from, a first principle basics perspective. Okay. So now let's look at a bunch of other plugins as well. So under SIP information gathering, we have some other plugins. You can click on extensions, and this will actually show you all the extensions currently available in the traffic. So we can see there are 4 extensions. 3 of them belong to the users. The 4th one, of course, belongs to the board number where the conference call is happening. Now let's look at one of the other plugins. RTP packet transfers. This basically gives you a high-level view of the different callers and callees and the ports and all of that, and call IDs. I'm rushing through these plugins. You can play with them. SIP auth export. This actually ends up exporting all of the parameters which are actually used for the digest authentication which happens in SIP. This is extremely useful if you want to use tools like SIP crack or hash crack later and try and check if there are any weak passwords which were used by any of these users while registering with the SIP registry. So similarly, you have servers and proxy. This is really when you're collecting trace files where multiple servers or proxies are expected. In this case, we can only see one because that's all we have. Along with the user agent, which is FPBX or FreePBX, there's the version, a couple of other identifying numbers. Now, apart from this, DTMF sequences and messages, these are really to be acted upon trace files which have DTMF sequences in them and SIP messages. I'll leave this to you as an exercise. You can try opening up the PCAP files which we used for SIP messaging and DTMF, and it'll actually show you interesting details. Fantastic. So I really hope you enjoyed this video and the plugin as well. We'll also be putting this up on GitHub very soon. So you can check GitHub's Pentester Academy sub-account, and we should have it in there. And as I said, if you find bugs, please let us know. If you want other enhancements, please let us know. And we'll try our very best to make sure that the team can go ahead and build this out further and deliver. So that's all I have in mind for this video. Thank you.